Life in the now play. Life in the now, with Nicky Talents, with Nicky Talents and now play. Life in the now, with Nicky Talents, with Nicky Talents and now play. Life in the now, with Nicky Talents.
Hello, hello, hello. Come on in. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, El Michelle. Thank you. Good afternoon, Samantha. God bless you. Yes, tag and share. Good evening, Lady Ferg. How are you? God bless you. Y'all come on in, tag and share. Share the broadcast because look, I just want to say this. It's voting season. It is voting season. Y'all, do y'all hear me? It's voting season. I'm so excited about it because this gives us an opportunity to make the necessary adjustments that we need or the changes that we need in our government, in our local city, state, government. This is our time to let our voices be heard. So y'all come on in. Yes, Samantha, share. Y'all share, tag some people, put it in their inbox, whatever it is that you have to do, and let them know that we are on. The Life in the Now podcast is on. Hello, Sister Letitia. God bless you. Go ahead, y'all. Continue to tag and share and let people know that we are on tonight. And we have an amazing guest that is going to be sharing with us on tonight. An amazing guest, because guess what? As Christians, as believers, we gotta get, we gotta make it. We have to make it easy for other people to come in and to be able to be. I don't know. I don't even know the word, but comfortable with us because we're in tune with what's going on all around us, not just in church. We don't just talk church talk. We're believers. We believe Christ. We follow Christ. Good evening, Miss Lena. And he has given us wisdom to do what we're supposed to do in the earth. to make changes, to, to vote. We have this amazing ability to vote, this amazing ability to get out and vote. So we need to go ahead and do it. And there are some people who saying, I don't like to vote. I don't like to get out. But guess what? Then someone else will always be making decisions for you. Yeah. So your voice is not being heard if you're not a voter. So again, good evening. Good evening. It's voting season. So we want to make sure that our voices are heard. I'm so happy that during this season and this time that God would allow me to relaunch the Life in and Now podcast. We were Life in and Now radio before, but now we're everywhere. The podcast, you can tune in from everywhere. You can go to YouTube, you can go to my actual podcast, you can go, it's here live on Facebook. So it's not just contained to one area, but we're everywhere now. So you guys can tap in. But since we are in Florida, we're in Tallahassee, Florida, I want to, specifically speak to the people in our local area who's going to be voting. If wherever you are, make sure you vote. But tonight, we are focused on this area. Good evening, Sophia. God bless you. God bless you. I'm so happy to see you guys on here. Y'all, look. I just got to give a big shout out to Miss Sophia G, who's on here on tonight, because she does such a great job. She did my hair, y'all. Thank you, Sophia. I love it. So I want to give her a shout out. So y'all, you know what? Hit her up. But I'm so excited about tonight because we have an amazing guest. My guest on tonight has been someone who my husband and I have known for years. He is another co-laborer in Christ. He is a father, a husband, man of God. He is the senior pastor of New Birth Tabernacle of Praise Church right here in the city of Tallahassee. Y'all, he's an advocate of change. Amen, Derek. Boots on the ground. That's it. He's an advocate of change. He's a man who has stepped out in this season to say, look, now is our time as kingdom people to make some changes. So he stepped out in this season for us. So I don't even want to, I don't want to read anymore. I'm going to let him share, the rest about him, because you guys know over the last 3 weeks, we've been talking about this with my last guest. We've been talking about the man, the motivation, and the mission. So without further ado, I want to welcome, y'all help me welcome, Pastor Mr. Rudolph Ferguson, Senior Pastor of New Birth Tabernacle of Praise. Come on in, Pastor Ferg. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for the introduction. I was actually enjoying that. Keep it up. That was good. Thank you.
Amen. Look, I'm excited about you. I'm excited about what you're doing in this season. When I see another pastor in the city step out, that just, it pushes me. It gives me the motivation. It gives me, it strengthens my faith to say, you know what, when God places something in your heart, when God tells you to do something, it's time to do it. We have to stretch beyond the borders. We have to stretch outside of ourselves, because sometimes we don't want, when God calls us to do something, in ourselves, we're like, oh no, God, I'm afraid, I'm scared. I don't want to be, I don't like being in front of people, or I don't want to be in front of the camera. But God says, no, now is the time. I need you to go ahead, and I need you to step out. That's right. In this season. So, I just want to say thank you so much for your labor of love, because you're always on the front line. I'm gonna throw that one in there. You're always on the front line. I always see you fighting for social justice. You're always the one that's saying, you know what, this is not right. How can we bridge the gap? I would say that you are the man that bridges the gap between, I've seen you do it between the city, the police department
Mhm.
and the people, the church, and trying to bridge the gap, between the church and the state. So, thank you so much for that.
To
Thank you so
God be
much.
the
I
glory.
appreciate
Thank
that.
you. Thank you. To God
Yes,
be
sir.
the glory.
Yes. So tonight, Pastor Fur, we're going to have a conversation. The conversation is basically centered around our theme, the man, the motivation, and the mission. So
Mhm.
I shared a little bit with our people about, who you are. You're a father, you're a husband, you're a father, you're a man of God, you lead God's people, you're a city, you're an advocate for our community.
Mm.
So can you tell our listeners a little bit more about Rudolph Ferguson Sr. and I guess you're a candidate,
Mhm.
and I want you to tell them what you're running for.
Good.
Mhm.
Well, again, thank you so much, Sister Collins. Thank you so much for the invitation to
Yes.
be here. Running for office is not an easy undertaking. It's
Mhm.
something that I sought the Lord for. And in politics, certain people don't want to hear that you prayed before you did something, because that's like a no-no in politics. That old cliche separation of church and state. That may be true in some aspects, but when it comes down, there's no separation from God and Rudy. And with that being said, I've learned how to seek the Lord's authority before I do anything. That's in the church and that's in the community. And I have to make it really plain to a lot of people that I just didn't start doing community service. I didn't become a servant leader when I became a pastor.
Mhm.
I was doing this when I started working for the Urban League when I was 18, 19 years of age, working for the Urban League. But what really catapulted me to that place was my opportunity to work along or work for one of the greatest governors of our time here in Florida. At the age of 23, I was appointed by Governor Lawton Childs to serve him for 7 years while he was in office as the state sole youth representative for the MLK Institute for Nonviolence. Now, here I am, this young man traveling the state and the country, traveling the state and the country, speaking on behalf of nonviolence, the United Nations, a season of nonviolence in Miami. And I'm traveling for the governor and speaking on that. After my term ended, Sister Collins, what happened was I found my calling, because it's an old saying that my grandfather used to say all the time. Rudy, when you find out your calling, your career will come easier. And I found
Mhm.
that my career is in public service. Excuse me, my career is in the capacity of being a servant leader, working
Yeah.
along for the people, working along with the people. And so after looking at what our government looks like right now, it just seems like it's a terrible place with negative ads and people coming after each other, all for the sake of saying, I want to represent you, I want to be great
Mhm.
for you, but they're tearing down each other to do it. And I don't believe that's the way we get things done. And so after working in our community for so long in the Griffin Heights neighborhood in the Frenchtown and on the south side of town, what
Mhm.
really changed my mind is when I saw and I looked and seen that the government and certain individuals who are in leadership wasn't paying attention to our most vulnerable communities. And our most vulnerable communities, they're more so in the place of the Black communities, the
Wow.
underserved, the underprivileged communities. And it really bothered me to the point that somebody said, well, pastors can't run for office. I said, well, the football players can. Why can't a pastor? And so, nevertheless, I thought it was so important. So I prayed, sought
Mhm.
God, got his approval and his permission to leave the pulpit and go further on the pavement, if you will. And I cast my name in there to be the next Kent Leon County Commissioner. And I believe I bring servant leadership to the table. That is
My,
what, so there's nothing I have to find to do. Me being on television in the newspaper, that's not that's not something I'm doing because I'm running for office. That's something I do whether I was running for office or not. I'm always speaking on behalf of the community, because if I don't speak up for the community, what happens? We can't depend on certain people. And lastly, I would say, it seemed like, those who are out here, you and myself and the others and your husband, who are really trying to bring our communities, on their feet, put them on in a good place. It seems like we're running and going in circles, chasing our tails. And the best way I know that can work is for me to sit in that chair at the Leon County Courthouse to change the policies,
mm,
create policies that will represent those who cannot represent themselves. And that is
mm,
the reason why I'm running for office, because it's time to make that change. And I'm not saying it's a cliche. I'm saying it really is time to remove the old guard and put in the new guard that has actually been the gatekeeper of our community for a better part of 30 years.
My God. Look, Pastor Ferg, you've said a whole lot, and I've heard you speak so many times before. But I hear the passion. I hear, it's more than just passion, it's a call. It's
Hmm.
a mandate that God is calling you to in this season, and it's also to help lead the people,
Right.
because we have to have someone speaking for us. So I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that you have, allowed yourself to launch out in this season and said,
Hmm.
okay, God, I'll go, I'll do it. You know, look, send me, I'll go. And it's so powerful, because so many people on here that know you, they are standing behind you. I saw Gerald Tooks, my friend. Hello, Gerald. God bless you. He says hello to Pastor Ferg as well. I
My
see,
man.
Mr. Stephen Knight is on here. Prophetess Lisa Ward, all you guys, welcome, welcome. Because there are so many people who are sitting back wondering, okay, who's going to represent us?
Hmm.
You know, who's going to be that person that's going to get out there that we can vote for, that we know for a surety that will keep their promises, that will continue to fight for the people, who will, walk in integrity, who will continue to serve, just be that servant leader.
I
So
agree.
yeah. So again, thank you so much for that, Pastor
Yes,
Berg. I
ma'am.
want to ask you this question. When you told your family, your wife, Lady Ferg, God bless you. When you told Lady Ferg and your kids that you were gonna, this was the time that you were gonna, step out and get into the race. What was the reaction? What was the reaction from your family?
Well, I'm glad you said told, because one thing about Lady Ferguson, she don't get told anything. She get asked things. So, and with that being said, it was something I prayed first before I brought it to her, and after I prayed, and I've got that solidified decision from the Lord in my spirit. I brought it to my wife, and we were sitting in the dining room and watching television. So I kind of launched it out there quickly, and so she kind of leaned over and she said, okay. And she nodded her head a little bit. She thought about it. She pondered on it. She didn't answer me right away. We finished watching our television show.
Uh-huh.
And but I realized that she was going to, my wife has always supported me. We've been married 30 years now. Got married when we were 20 years of age. I'm
Oh,
51 and she is 27. And so we are in the reality though, and so and I knew she would support me. I knew that she would stand with me, because when we launched this church, that was probably bigger than running for office, because this is a lifetime ministry that we
yeah.
have to, run with. So, but afterwards, my wife said she wanted to make sure that that our marriage and that our relationship was intact, because a lot of distractions comes along with running for office. A
Absolutely.
lot of things come up, things happen, people say, and it becomes a problem for a lot of different people, and not just myself launching out there, but the
Mhm.
Ferguson name itself. My wife was launching with me as the backbone of my campaign. And so I believe that my sons, they were excited about it as well. My family was with me. My extended family, or my father, everyone seemed to say, okay, Rudy, what you were waiting for. And I was waiting, I believe, for the timing.
Mhm.
Everything is important with timing. And I did not want to just jump in the race. I just didn't want to run against somebody to sit in the seat. So I saw the best seat that I thought would be more prudent for where we needed to go.
Mhm.
And just so happens that the one that's sitting in the seat hasn't really made the seat useful. He
Mhm.
hasn't really launched in the deep to make it. And I say no, and I mean this when I say this, no disrespect to him as a person and
Mhm.
as a man. I just think that his service in these 12 years has not rendered the very things that we need in our most vulnerable communities. It's
Wow.
important to understand. It's okay to take care of the northeast side of town. It's okay to take care of our most our well-to-do communities, but we also want to look out for those who want to do well. And that's important in itself. And when you're only looking at one class of people, that ensures your reelection, that's a problem for me. That's
Yes.
a problem for me. And so it's not taken away from those wealthy communities. The
Mhm.
ultimate goal is to not slice up the piece of the pie that we already have in more slices. The ultimate goal is to make the pie bigger. So if we can make the pie bigger by bringing more revenue, by bringing more opportunities, by bringing more jobs, by bringing more enterprise. So those business, their money stay in place. All we've done now is brought more businesses who probably would have never got to that table because of the size of that pie the first time,
Mhm.
now has an opportunity to get a part and be a part of the growing network of entrepreneurs, and also add to the economics of our community and of our city. So that's after talking to Lady Ferg, that was, of course, she wanted to make sure that I knew what I was talking about as well. So nevertheless, it has been an experience, and I'm so glad to have her by my side all these years, and always encouraging me, and sometimes reminding me, that I've got to do one, two, and three, and all that goes with the grain of also being a pastor. I'm still preaching on Sunday mornings. I'm still teaching, and that is my first calling. That is my responsibility. And then I get back on the campaign trail when that responsibility has been handled. So I'm
Wow.
excited to have her by my side on this one.
Awesome, awesome. That is very, very important. Family is very important. And sometimes I see so many people that just, you kind of just leave your family because, oh, well, I have a mandate from God. But God would, I don't think that God would want you to leave your family, lose your family, or to
Mhm.
cause chaos in your family just to go and do a mandate. I think there's a balance in that. And I
Mhm.
believe that, when people of God step out, especially in this season,
Mhm.
we have to make sure that we are well balanced and covered,
Mhm.
and so that's why I love that you said that you prayed first. You prayed
Mhm.
about it first, and then you went to your wife and you both prayed about it. And
Mhm.
so that is so very important, and that's a nugget there for some young leaders that are coming up, some young men and women who are looking to do some great things in the world, whether it's in politics or the church or ministry, wherever. But you got to know what that first things first: God, family, then ministry. If
Mhm.
you have those things in order, you can really go far. And that's
That's right.
why this show is so important, because I wanted to allow the people in on the hearts of the candidates that are running,
Mhm.
because so many times we hear, what you want to do, how you want to change it, and how you plan to change it, but we don't know who you are. And it's
Mhm.
hard to trust people when you really don't know their heart. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You've seen them, but you don't really, if I know this person's heart, so my thing is, because I know you and I know where you come from, I know where you're going, and I understand your passion behind it. I can stand up and say, yes, that's who I'm voting for. And I can do it with boldness, because I know this person. I may not, be at your house every day. We don't eat dinner all the time together. But the thing
Mhm.
is that I know this person because I've heard them. I sat and I listened to them. And guess what? They've listened to me. So
Mhm.
that's why this platform is just so important in this time. And that's why I wanted to do it. And so you talking about family, that's a
Mhm.
part of the man,
Yes.
is very, very important.
Mhm.
Very, very
Yes,
important.
it is. I agree.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that with us, Pastor
Yes, ma'am.
Bird.
Thank
There's
you.
something the you talked about the motivation behind it as well. You've already kind of gone over that. You watched over
Mhm.
the years. The motivation behind you stepping out. You watched. There's some. God placed it in your heart. All of these things help motivate you. Is there anything else that helped to motivate you to say, okay, now I have to do it now, I have to
Yeah.
step out now? Are there any other things that you would like to share with us
Well,
about that motivation?
I think more so is that, I'm always looking for ways to better my community. We're looking for ways to better our vulnerable communities and those communities that need a hand up. And I believe it's so important for us to look at what's not happening, and what's not working, what's not going. And sometimes politics have gotten in the way of good people doing good things, and that's a problem for me, because we can't keep buying and selling from the empty wagon. We can't keep
Mhm.
going from the same spot to the same place, telling us that if eventually something is going to be in this wagon. No, people need to see working, tangible evidence that things are actually working on their behalf. Now, Rome wasn't built in a day, and I
Right.
don't believe we can fix what we need to fix in the few months that I'm there. But I can promise you this: one thing about me is knowing that I'm on a timetable and I'm on a mission. It's my job to make sure that in the first 100 days that the people who voted for me, even the ones who don't vote for me, will
Mhm.
see that I am the right choice for this position. I am the one who is going to bring some real, tangible, actionable things that can be in place for
Mhm.
not just for public safety with the gun violence. Me serving as the chairman of the Tallahassee Police Department Citizen Advisory Council, but not just that, but also bringing a way for affordable homes. Everybody wants a home over their head. I mean, a roof over their head. They want to be a part of society. They want to be a part of the growth. They want to have that
Mhm.
sense of belonging in Tallahassee, Florida, which leads me into a segue to the poverty and the homeless that we have here. We just can't shoo it away. We can't say it's not our problem. We see it every day.
Right.
We just can't build a facility and say, okay, homeless people, that's where you go because you're homeless. No, we have to look for other ways. What made this person become homeless? Most people out there, you'd be surprised, Sister Collins, that some have degrees. Some of them, have doctor degrees, but life got in the way. We're
Yeah.
all a sandwich away from being hungry. You know what I
Ooh,
mean? And so the
yeah.
reality of it all is that we must begin to look at how do we bridge that gap between the homeless and having and giving them a home. And there's a lot of ways I've explored, even with rapid rehousing, taking some of these dilapidated homes that we have sitting in our communities that the people have died on, and it belongs to the city. Let's take those homes. We can use some SHIP funds from the government to repair those homes so that these people can move right into them, not just move in, but give them the necessary, resources and
Yes.
support services that can help them become responsible, positive, productive citizens
Ooh.
again. That is the most element. It won't take us a bunch of years, but it will take us time to really put that
Mhm.
formula together. And I believe that with me sitting in that chair, that would definitely work. And I will also say Tallahassee social appeal. I've been living in Tallahassee since 1984. Now I would say that it has changed.
Uh-huh.
We got more than one theater now. Uh, we can go a few more places, but the times are changing. Our young people want to see more. They want to be included more. They want to have a voice more. And I think that's so important that we include them to the
Mhm.
table. So my model, I say this, my goal is the 3 L's. I always tell people so people understand. My first thing is to listen to you. So if I can listen to you, I can also learn from you. And if I can learn from you, that'll give me the power to lead for you. That's
Ooh.
important for me, and not just in the role of running for office, but also in my pastoral responsibilities, listening, learning, then leading. Those are the aspects that we need in the chair. We need someone that's not just going to, carry the water for you. You need someone in office that's going to go help you get it out the well.
My
That's
God.
important, and I believe that I am that person that can get that job done, not because, all these different other elements, but because my heart, Sister Collins, it has led me to this place. It has put me in this moment, and this is the reason, the motivation behind it, because now is the time to make the very important all decisions that's going to affect not just you and I, not just our children, but
Mm.
also our grandchildren.
Yeah.
It's important to understand that. So that's my motivation behind it all. I know I said a mouthful.
Well, you did, and then you went right into the mission. You just told us the mission behind it. Well, you shared so much. This thing, my husband is on here, and he says, "Wow, the 3 L's." That's what I was just about to read again. Listen, learn, and to lead. That is powerful. Everyone on here is saying, that's powerful. We all should live by that model.
Hmm.
Listen, learn, and lead. It's
Hmm.
easy to lead when you're listening and
Hmm.
you're learning. Come on.
My wife used to say it all the time to me. She'd say, "Honey, you're not listening. You're not listening to me. You're not listening." So I had to master the fact of learn how to listen. That made it more effective me leading as a husband. So yeah, I thought I'd put
Yes.
that out there. Hmm.
Wow, I see everyone is chiming in on that. Michael Johnson said powerful. Robert Thomas said powerful. Pastor Ferg, this is powerful. Someone else says powerful, very powerful. But Miss Lena, she love it. But this is how you make an impact when people can hear your heart on it, not just know that you're fighting to get in the seat, but your reason behind why you want to get there, why, you stepped out in this time and in this season. So your mission is very, very clear. We have a few more minutes, well, maybe about 3 more minutes, Pastor Ferg. Would you just share a little bit more about this mission, about what you would like to see, and, just a few words just to tie this thing up for us?
Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna say this real quickly. I think it's so important to understand that the mission is to bring our community under one fold, under one mission. We are one Leon County. We are one Leon, Tallahassee, Florida. So no matter what side of people town they live on, what side of town they live on, it's important to understand that every community is important. We've got about 96 communities and neighborhoods associations in Leon County.
Wow.
And we need to be able to bring a variety of information, not just information. How do we teach people who want to be in business, want to do business with Leon County, not just having them come up there, but bringing them here, bringing them to the community. Let the staff that works for Leon County bring those concepts, how to do a contract, how to get money from the city, how to get money from the county, how to start a business, how to get to that table. It's a reason why you see a lot of people give big money to a lot of these people, because they want to make sure that their footing is solidified when contracts come up. And it's a reason why I have not accepted any money from developers, because if anybody's going to do business with Leon County, no one is going to give me a check to say, remember, I gave you a check. So
Right.
my contract come across your desk, I need you to look at it, look closely. That is the only reason that I haven't raised a whole bunch of money like my opponents have, because I believe this is grassroots. This is how we get it done. Knocking on doors. My wife and I did handwriting notes, passing them out, send them in the mail to all these different people, because I want people to know that Rudy Ferguson is real. So my motto in closing, run with Rudy, because Rudy has been running with you. And that's how we get the job done. Thank you so much.
My God, run with Rudy. I need y'all to go ahead and put that in the comments. Run with Rudy, because Rudy has been running with you and for you. Powerful, powerful. I've heard so much tonight, Pastor Ferg, that has, enlightened me. I hear your heart. I believe in what you're doing. I've seen your work in the community. I believe that it's time for change on every level. On every level, it's time for change. And so tonight, if I had any doubt, or I believe if anyone else had any doubt about you, I believe that you have truly, opened your heart and poured out to us on tonight. And, my prayer is that you continue to run this race all the way up until August 23rd, is it?
That's next Tuesday.
Next
Yes,
Tuesday?
Mm-hmm.
Next Tuesday, y'all. And for some of us, we had the opportunity to early vote. So whether you're early vote, whether you're waiting to vote, however you decide to do it, listen at the hearts of the people. Know who it is that you're voting for. Know that change is now. And we can't change anything if we refuse to get up and to do something. So, I encourage each and every one of you out there who are listening to go and vote.
That's
right. You heard, and look, when you see Pastor Rudy Ferguson name on that ballot, just go ahead.
I'm the first one.
He said he's the first one. So go ahead and vote. I see some people say they're running with Rudy. Awesome. Michael Johnson said it's just powerful. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Berg, for this opportunity on tonight. And thank you to all of our listeners out there, all of our viewers, even if you go back and do the replay. Thank you all so much. And I will have another special guest with me on Thursday night. So you guys do not want to miss it. It is voting season. So remember this. We love you guys. And until next week, be blessed.